Let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever said something in English and in your head it sounded completely fine, but then the other person paused for a second before replying?
That pause is dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Because most times it means one of two things. Either they didn't fully understand you, or they understood you, but something sounded off.
And the frustrating part is you don't even know what you did wrong.
Exactly. You walk away thinking, my English is okay, but something small is quietly affecting how people hear you.
And that's what we're fixing today. Welcome to EngGlowUp, the channel where we turn everyday moments into English learning.
This is not a classroom. We're not doing lesson 1, lesson 2. We're just having a real conversation and fixing things as they come.
Yes, the kind of mistakes you make at home, on the phone, at work, with friends, the normal ones.
All right, let's start simple. Very simple. Have you ever said, borrow me your pen?
I've heard that too many times.
And it sounds correct, but it's not. You don't say borrow me, you say lend me your pen.
Yeah, because borrow and lend are not the same thing, even though people treat them like twins.
Exactly. If you are receiving, you borrow. If you are giving, you lend.
So you say, I borrowed a book from him, not he borrowed me a book.
That one immediately gives you away.
Pause for a second. Just think about it. How many times have you said that the wrong way without noticing?
Let's move to something even subtler. Someone calls you and asks, where are you? And you say, I'm coming.
That one is tricky because technically it feels right.
But in real English, it's vague. Are you coming now? Have you left? Are you close? Nobody knows.
Exactly. So instead you say things like, I'm on my way, or I'll be there soon, or even I'm just leaving now.
Those give clarity. And that's something people underestimate. English is not just about being correct, it's about being clear.
You know what I've noticed? Most people don't actually struggle with big English. They struggle with these small, everyday things.
Yes, the tiny ones that repeat every day. Those are the ones shaping your fluency, not big grammar rules.
Okay, let's talk about this one. Explain me this.
That one hurts a little.
It sounds so normal, but it's wrong. You don't say, explain me. You say, explain it to me.
That too is not optional. Without it, the sentence just feels incomplete.
And you see how small that is? Just one word, but it changes everything.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that sometimes, even when someone understands you, you still feel like your English is not smooth?
Yes, that feeling of something is not flowing.
That's exactly what we're fixing, not just understanding, smoothness.
Okay, this one, very common. Open the light.
Yeah, I've heard that many times.
And again, it makes sense in your head. But in English, you don't open light. You turn on the light.
Or turn off the light. Because you're activating it, not opening it.
And this is where translation becomes a problem. You're thinking in your language and then just converting it directly.
Instead of thinking in English patterns.
Let's shift slightly. Imagine you're at work now. Professional setting. Someone says, "Can we talk?" And you respond, "I would like to speak with you."
That sounds polite, but it's not natural. You say, I would like to speak with you.
That would matters more than people think. It softens the sentence, makes it sound natural.
Another one I hear a lot, I am having a meeting.
Understandable, but not how people usually say it.
Right. You say, I'm in a meeting. Short, clean, natural.
There's something about simplicity in English. The simpler it sounds, the more fluent it feels.
Let's try something real. I'll ask you a question. Are you free right now?
Okay, wrong answer first. I am having a meeting.
Now natural version?
I'm in a meeting. I'll call you back.
That sounds like someone who knows what they're doing.
Let me bring up something interesting. Please do the needful.
That one has been around for a long time.
Yes, but in modern English, it sounds outdated and honestly a bit unclear.
It doesn't tell the person what to actually do. So instead say, please handle this. Or please take care of this.
Clear instruction. no confusion.
Can I point something out? Most of these mistakes are not about intelligence.
At all.
They're about habit. You've said it that way for so long, it feels correct.
Let's talk introductions. Myself, Flora.
That one is very common, but incorrect.
You just say, I'm Flora. Or, my name is Flora.
Myself is not for introducing yourself. It's for emphasis in a completely different context.
Let's do a quick role play. Interview setting.
Go ahead.
Myself, Flora, I am coming from Lagos.
Now try again.
My name is Flora. I'm from Lagos.
That's it. Same information, completely different impression.
And that's the real thing, right? It's not just about speaking. It's about how you sound when you speak.
Exactly. Because people don't just listen to your words, they interpret your confidence through your structure.
Let's fix one more. I didn't went.
No. Just no.
It sounds funny, but people say it. Correct version? I didn't go.
Because once you use did, the verb resets back to its base form.
Let's test you quickly. Which one is correct? I didn't ate or I didn't eat.
If you said eat, good. If not, now you know.
You see what's happening here? We're not giving you new English. We're cleaning the English you already have.
And that's more powerful, because improvement becomes faster.
If you're really paying attention right now, you'll start noticing these things in your daily conversations, even when other people speak.
And once you start noticing, you can't unsee it.
That's when your English begins to change. Not overnight, but consistently.
Let's talk about another one. Say and tell.
This one confuses a lot of people.
You'll hear, he said me that he is coming.
That's incorrect. You say, he told me that he is coming.
Because tell usually has a person after it. Tell me, tell her, tell them.
While say doesn't work that way. You say, he said that he is coming.
Or he said it, but not he said me.
Small difference, but very noticeable.
You know, I think this is where many learners get stuck. They know the word, but they don't know how the word behaves.
That's a good way to put it. Words have behavior, not just meaning.
Let's make this more real. Imagine you're telling a story.
Okay.
You say, my friend said me to come early.
Immediately wrong. Correct version, my friend told me to come early.
Let's shift slightly. Pronunciation.
This one is sensitive.
Yes, because people don't like being corrected. But it matters.
Let's take a common word, comfortable.
Most people say, come for trouble.
But natural pronunciation is closer to comfortable.
You drop some sounds. English does that a lot.
Another one, vegetable.
People say veg-ta-bull.
But it's actually vegetable.
And if you pronounce every syllable clearly, it can sound unnatural.
This is where listening becomes more important than reading.
Yes, because English is not always spoken the way it is written.
Let me ask you something. When you learn a new word, do you learn how it sounds or just how it is spelled?
That question alone can change your learning process.
Because if you don't hear it correctly, you won't say it correctly.
And then even correct grammar becomes hard to understand.
Let's come back to usage again. This one is subtle. Return back.
That's redundant. You don't need both.
You either say return or go back.
But not return back.
Same with repeat again.
Just say repeat.
Or say it again.
English prefers efficiency, not unnecessary repetition.
Let's try a real-life situation. You're in class. You didn't hear something.
What do you say?
Wrong version. Repeat again what you said.
Better version. Can you repeat that? Or can you say that again?
Cleaner. Natural.
Let's go a bit deeper into something people don't notice. Tone.
Yes, tone changes everything.
You can say the correct sentence, but in the wrong tone, and it sounds rude.
For example, give me your pen.
Correct grammar, but harsh.
Now compare, can I borrow your pen?
Same intention, different feeling.
That's the human side of English.
Not just what you say, but how it feels when you say it.
I think this is where fluency becomes real, when your English starts to sound natural and feel natural.
and people stop focusing on your mistakes and start focusing on your message.
Let's pause here for a moment. Not a break, just a reset.
Yeah, just breathe a little.
Think about everything we've said so far. Not everything, just one or two things.
Maybe lend instead of borrow me. Or I'm in a meeting instead of I am having a meeting.
Or even just noticing how you pronounce words.
That's enough. You don't need to fix everything at once.
Just one correction, repeated consistently, changes your speech.
And over time, those small changes build something strong.
All right, imagine this. You walk into a market or a shop and you want to buy something. Simple situation. But this is where a lot of people reveal their level of English without realizing it.
Yeah, because it feels casual, so people don't pay attention.
Exactly. So you walk up to a seller and say, "How much is this one?"
That's actually fine. Very natural.
Yes, that one works. But now, let's go a bit deeper. You pick up something else and say, "Give me that one."
Correct, but not very polite.
Right. It sounds like a command.
So instead, you say, "Can I have this one?" Or, "I'll take this one."
Same meaning, but softer. More natural.
Let's play it out.
Okay, how much is this?
It's 5,000.
Okay, give me that one.
Now try again.
Okay, I'll take this one.
Much better. That sounds like everyday English.
Let's add another layer. You want to negotiate. Now this is where things get interesting.
You don't just say, reduce the price.
That sounds direct, almost aggressive.
Instead, you say, can you lower the price of it? Or, is that your best price?
That one is powerful. Is that your best price? Very natural.
And it opens the conversation instead of shutting it down.
Let's switch scene. Public transport.
All right.
You enter a bus and you want to confirm where it's going. You say, "This bus is going to Acadia?"
Understandable, but slightly off.
Better. "Is this bus going to Acadia?"
Just changing the structure makes it smoother.
Or even, "Does this bus go to Acadia?"
Short, natural.
Now, imagine you're asking someone to move. You say, shift.
That one is very direct.
Too direct.
Better, excuse me, can you move a little?
Or even just, excuse me.
Sometimes, fewer words, better communication.
You know something? English is not about speaking more.
It's about speaking better.
Exactly.
Let's move into something more personal. Conversations with friends.
This is where people relax and mistakes become stronger.
Because you're not thinking anymore.
Right. You say, "I'm coming to your house now."
That now.
It makes sense locally, but in standard English, it's unnecessary.
You just say, I'm coming to your house now, or I'm on my way.
Cleaner.
Let's try another one. You call your friend and say, "I'm at your front."
That sounds incomplete.
Better, "I'm in front of your house." Or, "I'm outside your place."
Those sound natural immediately.
Let's make it a bit more emotional. You're apologizing.
Okay.
You say, "I'm sorry for the inconvenience caused."
That sounds formal.
Too formal for a friend.
With a friend, you say, "I'm really sorry about that." Or, "Sorry, that was my fault."
Now it sounds human.
That's something people don't realize. You can be correct, but still sound distant.
And communication is about connection.
Let's slow down for a second. Because this part matters.
Yeah.
Think about your daily life. Not English class. Not exams. Your real life.
The conversations you have every day.
That's where your English is actually judged.
Not by teachers. By people.
Let's do one more scenario. Phone conversation.
All right.
Someone calls you. You pick up and say, "I'm hearing you."
Understandable, but not natural.
You say, "I can hear you." Or simply, "Hello?"
Or even, "Yeah, I can hear you clearly."
Now it sounds smooth.
And when the call is breaking?
You don't say,
I'm not hearing you well.
You say, I can't hear you properly. Or, you're breaking up.
That one is very natural.
Now notice something.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't teach you new English.
We refined what you already know.
And that's the difference.
Because fluency is not about knowing more.
It's about using what you know correctly and naturally.
And once that clicks, everything starts to change.
The way you speak, the way people respond to you, even your confidence.
And we're not done yet.
Not even close.
Because there's one more layer we need to address.
The way you think in English.
Not translate, but think.
All right, this last part is where things become very real. Because everything we've said so far, mistakes, corrections, pronunciation, tone, they all connect to one deeper issue.
The way you think.
Exactly. Most people don't speak English, they translate into English.
And that process slows you down. You're building sentences in your head, checking them, adjusting them before you even speak.
And by the time you finally say it, you've already lost confidence.
That hesitation, people can hear it, even if your words are correct.
So the goal is not just to learn more English, it's to start thinking in English patterns.
Let's make that practical. Instead of thinking, how do I say this in English? Start thinking, what is the simplest way to express this idea?
That shift changes everything, because simple English is natural English.
For example, instead of trying to construct something complex like, I will be coming to your location in a short period of time,
You just say, I'll be there soon.
same message, less effort, more natural.
And the more you do that, the less you depend on translation.
And when that happens, your speech starts to flow.
Let me say something clearly. Fluency is not speed. Fluency is clarity, consistency, and ease.
That's important, because many people think, if I speak fast, I sound fluent.
If you've been listening up to this point, you've probably noticed something.
Yeah,
We didn't overwhelm you.
we didn't throw grammar rules at you.
We just adjusted small things.
Because that's how real improvement works.
Not big changes overnight.
But small corrections, repeated daily.
Let's quickly go over a few things, just the ones that stood out.
Lend me, not borrow me.
I'm on my way, not just I'm coming.
Explain it to me, not explain me.
I'm in a meeting, not I am having a meeting.
I didn't go, not I didn't went.
Turn on the light, not open the light,
Small changes.
but powerful ones.
Now, here's the question. What are you going to do with this?
Because listening is one thing.
But using it is another.
Pick just 1 or 2 corrections from today
Not everything, just 1 or 2.
and use them today, in a conversation, on a call, with a friend.
That's how it sticks.
And don't worry about sounding perfect. That's not the goal.
The goal is to sound real.
Natural.
Understood.
All right. We'll stop here for today.
But this is not the end.
We're going to keep building this, step by step.
Real English. Real situations.
Don't forget, this is EngGlowUp, the channel where we turn everyday moments into English learning.
If you stayed with us till the end, you're already improving.
We'll see you in the next one.